Hey guys, welcome to the video. So recently I've been seeing a lot of videos on people getting developer jobs after like 6 months, or even people saying the market's just dead, so the complete opposite. And also I haven't seen many videos on the kind of UK state of things. Um, and as someone that basically got their first development job 4 months ago, I thought I'd make my kind of take on this. So let's dive into it. So I want to first say that I got my first development job completely self-taught. Now I won't pretend that I don't have any kind of like qualifications though. I do have a degree in bioveterinary science and I have a master's degree in biomedical sciences. Now I never did any programming at all, like ever. And I didn't even use R. Um, I used SPSS for statistics, but like as well as that though, I also sucked at maths. Like I was terrible at maths at school. When I was in GCSEs, I got a C, and that was after failing the first time and getting a D. But now I quite enjoy maths, and it's something I'd like to like pick up and learn a bit more about. Also, my story differs to like a few people's stories. I see quite a lot of people saying, "Oh, I got a job in 6 months," and they were like learning full time. Whereas, like for me, I worked full time, and I learned in the mornings and the evenings after work and on the weekends, which I think kind of is what most people would be doing. Because realistically, if you're going to learn to program, you're probably going to have to support yourself unless you're really young. Which, if you're really young, go for it. If you're still living with your parents and you're studying, just do it. Or you're a person, you maybe have kids and you don't have much time at all. So I wanted to talk about kind of my experience and how I got there. So the first thing I want to say is like I have a reasonable timeline. It took me a year and 6 months to get my first development job, and I got very lucky. I literally got a job as a full stack developer. And I still don't know how I managed to get this job. I love my job. I'm very fulfilled. It's great. Actually, this is the project I made. This was my kind of portfolio piece that got me the job. So this was built with React, TypeScript, and I used Firebase for the back end, which is a back end service. Now, if you're completely new to programming and you've never programmed before, don't worry about all those technologies I just mentioned. But yeah, it just is a really simple kind of app, and you can, add requests, you can approve requests, you can add users and whatnot. You can create requests, all that kind of jazz. You can log out, it's got a register, it's got a login, it's got a forgot password and whatnot. But yeah, this is what got me the job. So the first thing I would recommend is honestly, just start off with a good kind of course and decide what you want to do. So for me, I followed the Odin Project. So the Odin Project is really what got me to where I am today. And the way I kind of did it, and the way I would suggest doing it, is try to do the easier stuff, or try to do the kind of hard stuff in the morning, and then when you're tired in the evenings, try to do easier things like, I don't know, CSS, for example, comes to mind. I would say it's easier long run than JavaScript. And I'm not going to dive super deep into all of these things, because if you're just going to begin and you've just started, it won't make any sense. It's not going to make any sense, right? So some other advice that I'm going to give is, once you do eventually get to the end of being good enough to get a job, look for a job in a small town somewhere that is less desirable. Now, I applied for like 100 jobs before I got this, and I got 3 interviews. 2 were at like big companies in Leeds, and I didn't get past the technical round because my data structures and algorithms wasn't strong enough. And then this job that I got, I had to do an actual I had to program like a clock in Angular, and it was really, really simple. I'd never used Angular before, but I knew I could do it. And my boss is an absolutely fantastic guy, completely self-taught over 20 years. He's a mad genius. Honestly, he's really smart. And I kind of got on with him, and that got me in. So that's another thing. Soft skills are going to get you there. So when people start saying that there's no jobs, or like, just give up now because you won't be able to get a programming job, you won't become a developer or a software engineer. It is possible. It is possible. I'm not good at maths. I'd never programmed before. And I got stuck on things for days where I couldn't do anything. I remember getting stuck trying to install Git onto my MacBook, and I literally spent 2 days. I came back from work and I'd sit there for 3 hours, and my wife would come and watch me as I just struggled to try and make Git work, and that was like a huge pain in the ass. So I think if you're tenacious and you just keep trying, you'll eventually get there. So that's the other thing. I'd say like consistency is key. Do it every day. Even if it's 5 minutes, just do a little bit every day. And if possible, once you've learned how to use Git and GitHub, or GitLab, whatever you want to use, you don't have to use Microsoft's GitHub. Then push to GitHub every day. It's one of those things. It's shallow because it doesn't mean anything. If I just make a repository in GitHub, it's going to come up on my kind of GitHub as a little green dot, right? It's going to come up to show that I've been doing stuff. It doesn't mean anything, but sadly, recruiters, employers are going to look and they go, oh, you can sit and code every day. And that's a huge thing too. Like, can you sit in front of a computer all day and just program? Yeah. And also, I'm not going to go super deep into anything else. I think if people like this video, I'll go into a further explained video on how I got here. But I would definitely recommend spending a long time on your final project and kind of going through your smaller projects quickly. And what I mean by that is, don't spend months on a weather API app. Everyone's done a weather API app. Learn how to use an API and fetch data from an API and move on. That's what I did. Just learn it, move on. And that's what I did with a lot of these tasks. For example, here's my calculator. It's pretty goddamn basic. And if anyone can comment below what design you think I stole, or who you thought, what design I stole from. I don't know. I can't speak English, I guess. Yeah, please try. This calculator sucks though. It's terrible, but it works. I didn't spend hours and hours. Well, I spent hours on it, but I didn't spend months trying to perfect it to make it this perfect calculator. I got it done and I moved on. Again, this to-do list, stuff like this, fix how requests work. Wow, I think this is actually old to-dos for my... I haven't seen this to-do list for a long time, but this is old to-dos for my my staff holiday tracker. I was really proud of this. I spent a long time on this actually. This is all vanilla JavaScript too. I sprained my ankle in the summer and had 2 weeks off work, and all I did was try this. So yeah, this was really a good project for me. Cool. And then this kind of shopping site. I used an API for this. It's quite nice. I would definitely not implement it the way I have now, but it is what it is. I think it's quite pretty at least. So I like the little animations. I don't really get to see how much CSS now as well. So I use Bootstrap at work. I kind of miss that. So yeah, what would I recommend? If I was to kind of sum it up, I guess keep doing it. Do a little bit every single day. If you love it, you will eventually get a job doing it. So just keep doing it. Programming is very fun. It's very stressful sometimes, but it's an amazing thing. And the further you get in, the better you'll get. And then eventually you'll just get something. It should be so good. Okay. And then the other thing I'd say is don't waste time on things that aren't going to get you a job, right? Like if you're going to make a calculator, if you're going to make a weather API app, these are good things. You need to learn it. You need to kind of do a project that's just out of your reach. Do it, learn the main thing, move on. It's not going to be a portfolio piece that you're going to show people. And in the early days, I thought, for example, I thought this to-do list was something I would show employers. And when I did this, I thought it was amazing. I was like, oh, this is the best thing I've ever done. but it's funny when I look back at it now. It's so simple. I wouldn't show this to an employer. In fact, I've got it on my profile. I need to remove it actually, or at least from the pinned bit. And then the other thing that I haven't even mentioned, but I'll quickly mention now before I kind of end this video, is if you can do a Hack Weekly group. I found a Hack Weekly group on Reddit and I made a couple of friends through there, and I worked on projects with other people and I learned so fast. Like, I knew a bit at this point. I'd made some stuff. I just started my staff holiday calendar, so I'd made this, and I learned a lot really quickly because people from all different levels kind of joining on as Hack Weeklies, people that want to learn how to be a senior developer by leading like a team and whatnot, join, and you'll just get a lot of feedback and you get the experience of working with other people and you can put that on your CV. So yeah, that would be my kind of recommendations. And I guess, like I said, look for jobs in small towns. If you look for jobs in big cities, you're going to be against really strong competition. A lot of computer scientists, that have just finished university, you're going to be up against them. And yeah, the jobs are better and stuff. But once you've got some experience, you're going to be able to go wherever you want anyway. So, yeah. And then the last thing is, this is just a general thing for my kind of YouTube channel. I'm going to start, uploading more videos like this on my experiences. Especially for the UK, because it just isn't much for the UK. I don't know why. I guess the audience is smaller, but a lot of the stuff that happens in the UK and the development scene is interesting, and I struggle to find someone that I could kind of listen to and follow. So I'm going to try to make some stuff like that, and also I'm going to start making data structure and algorithms, kind of like tutorials for not using like scientific jargon and whatnot. I'm going to try to dumb it down as much as I can because I found that analogies work a lot better to explain things, and that's the kind of videos that I would like to make. So if you're interested in that, please let me know. If you have any questions, comment them down below. I will reply. I remember being in like your position and trying to find somewhere and find my first job, and it was painful, and it's just so many things that you want explaining to you, like what is an API, how does it actually work, how do you actually link a database to your your front end, and how do you reach those API endpoints. All these kind of questions were just bubbling in my head when I was learning, so if I can answer, I will. And yeah, have a great day and good luck on your journey.